I'm here at a LuxCon with artist Don Maitz. Thank you for speaking with me.
Happy to do it.
I'd like to start by asking, is there an artwork here you are most proud of and why?
There's a painting just around the corner called Captain Flint.
Okay.
And I'm proud of it because it's my most recent painting. And I've always been an admirer of Treasure Island, and it was an opportunity to show a character who was hinted at in the book but wasn't realized.
Okay.
And my imagination kicked in, and I didn't have a model for it. I just imagined what, this character, which was the linchpin of that whole book, would look like, and how malicious his presence might be within a painting.
Okay.
And also, Captain Flint is the name of the parrot. So there's a parrot on his shoulder, and it's sort of flint on flint. When I call the painting Captain Flint, I could be referring to either the painting or the character or the painting.
Okay. And you said that's here?
It is here.
Around this corner. Okay. I'll take a look at that. How do you know when a work is finished?
Sometimes it's when the FedEx truck comes up the driveway.
Yeah.
But most of the time what I do is I believe it's finished, and then I'll put it facing against a wall, and I'll leave it there for a while and come back to it later, like maybe even a couple of days, and then I'll hold it in front of a mirror and see if anything irritates me.
Okay. All right. And if it does, I assume you
then it isn't finished yet.
Then you take care of it. Okay.
What used to happen is I would think it was finished, and I would, in the days of transparencies, I would go in and have a rather expensive large format transparency made, and then I would look at the reverse of the transparency and go, oh my God, I should have done this, this, and this to it. So now what I do also is I'll photograph the painting digitally and reverse it on my computer and look at it backwards just to see if anything strikes me as being awkward in reverse.
Have you heard of other artists doing that?
It's common.
It's common?
A lot of artists have a mirror, and I have one too in my studio, and you look at the painting in reverse over your shoulder in a small hand mirror, and you see mistakes in perspective. Sometimes a value is it jumps out of key. Sometimes having the painting upside down, because you become familiar with your work, and it looks better than it actually is, because you're completing it with your eyes. So either distancing yourself from the painting in some way, shape, or form, flipping it upside down, reversing it, putting it against a wall for some time, what you're doing is disorienting yourself with the work, and then you revisit it and you go, why didn't this artist do that? Instead of, I am the greatest artist in the world and I just completed a masterpiece.
Yeah.
You see, your subconscious gets in there, and when you create some distance, you're able to see it fresh.
Okay, interesting. What inspires you?
Good question. It varies. When I'm given a commission, I find something within that commission that will inspire me. A lot of time my artwork comes from books. I just mentioned Treasure Island, and that character inspired me to do that painting. Sometimes a concept will inspire me. Sometimes it's I'll see something outdoors and I want what I see to be an inspiration. What I say to people is, I don't know where I get my inspiration, but I'm very happy it arrives.
Oh, okay. What is your most important artist tool? Is there something you can't live without in your studio?
I'm trying to isolate one tool, but probably a drawing table with a chair.
Okay.
Because it's easier, and sometimes I stand, but comfort is a big thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you listen to music or anything when you?
I used to, but I found that the brush starts following the beat, and that can be a boon or a bust.
Okay.
I prefer listening to audiobooks.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. What kind of books?
All kinds.
All kinds.
All kinds. And it depends if I'm, doing a certain type of painting. I may read a book that relates to it. Example, a sea rover painting. I may pull out, any number of books that have a nautical theme to it, just to get into the throes of it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm a fan of Patrick O'Brien.
Yes, me too.
The Hornblower books.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay. Is there an element of art you enjoy working with most, and why?
Element.
And that could be process, medium, materials.
Well, the part where I generally work with a concept that's been realized as a drawing. And after the drawing is there, before it's finished, that state where it goes from 2 dimensions to appearing 3-dimensional is very transformative for me. I really enjoy the ability to, painting is magical. You're taking a 2-dimensional surface and fooling your eye to believe that there's depth. You're adding a third dimension.
Right.
And in the course of imaginative realism, there's actually a 4th dimension, which is your imagination. We're portraying things that don't really exist. And to see the idea that, it's becoming 3-dimensional and impossible is a real thrill.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. How did you start making art, and why do you make art?
I started with comics.
Okay.
And basically because, I enjoy it. The idea of, even in its simplistic form, it's a storytelling environment. And I'm actually deaf in one ear, so I'm very visual as opposed to, sports-oriented, team sports and things really don't thrill me so much. So I'm much more interested in how things look than, how they sound or participating in communal things, being part of so being self-employed and isolated and getting in my own head is more relaxing for me than being in an environment with lots of people around me.
Okay. Okay. All right. What role does the artist have in society?
We present ideas. And sometimes radical ideas, and it's an important, artists have to be courageous. In other words, they have to tell truths that people sometimes don't want to see.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why, when you have a society that becomes stagnant or dictatorial, or a situation where they want people to become sheep, they attack the artist first, because the artists think and they present ideas and they make people think and connect the dots, and so they're dangerous to society in some ways, and they're very liberating for societies as well.
Yeah. Okay. What movies, books, or other artwork in science fiction or fantasy have inspired you?
Wow. Well, Lord of the Rings was a major inspiration, and it's been around. I'm one of the few artists that probably hasn't ever illustrated the Lord of the Rings, but I honor, people's copyrights. If I was hired by someone who owns the rights to Lord of the Rings and they wanted me to portray something from that, then I would be happy to do it. But just to take the work of a creative person like Tolkien and adapt it because I feel like it is an infringement. So, but I was very much inspired by both the books at first, and Jackson did a very interesting job with the films. And one of the reasons is that Alan Lee, who won an Academy Award for the visuals, the concept for that, was a hero of mine, and he was doing Tolkien for years for HarperCollins, and he became a major ingredient for Peter Jackson to adapt into those films. So I can see an artist whose work I admire being brought to life in those films. So they were very inspirational to me in that way. And recently, I've enjoyed The Expanse. They really did a wonderful job adapting that story. I'm reading the book in audio, and I'm revisiting what I saw on the tube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have The Expanse set. I have to start reading it at some point.
It's good. It's really well done.
Yeah. Okay. Is there an art piece you'd like to create that you haven't done so yet, and what is it?
I have the desire to do a painting of sea rovers and showing them actually voting. The society that came about with the privateers turning pirates and all that. The reason they developed their society was they were being abused. A lot of these sailors were not sailors. They were just drinking in a bar and they got thumped on the head and they found themselves at sea.
Yeah.
And they were being enslaved by the Merchant Marine and also the Royal Navy. Mm-hmm. And the idea that they escaped that environment and they said, no more are we going to be told what to do. And so it was one man, one vote. Didn't matter your religion, didn't matter your color so much. Yeah. They were literally princes of the sea. They had their own voices, mm-hmm. and it was the most democratic area on Earth at the time. Mm-hmm. So I thought that would be an important painting to do, and one of these days I'll get to it.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see. Well, that's all the questions I have. Do you have any last words, or?
Yeah, visit my website.
Okay, which is, I guess?
www.paravia.com.
How do you spell that?
Paravia.com. And you will actually have a choice to click on my name or my wife's name, Janie Wirtz, because we share the website, and she is actually an author and an artist.
Okay.
And so there's an author, an artist, and an artist under one roof.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
Please visit chrisalvarez.com for more cool stuff. That's CRISALVAREZ.com. Thanks for listening, and keep imagining the future.